everybody! So, like we said, here is Black Angel, and I'm here to talk to you about INFJs. Yeah, that's something that is never gonna change. When I start a new restyling, the first thing that I do is an INFJ video. So, yeah, so let's talk about INFJs. What is an INFJ? This is all going to be disrupting stereotypes, so I'm not going to start with a specific one to disrupt, because what an INFJ actually is not what people think that an INFJ would be. So here is what an INFJ actually is. So first of all, they are the embodiment of anti-conformism, non-conformism. They embody non-conformism because they do not understand conformism, and they do not know what importance to give to conformism. So when that kind of thing happens, that you cannot give importance to something, the first reaction that you're going to have is somehow repulsion, rejection of that thing. So they're kind of allergic to conformism. That's something they cannot understand, that they cannot fit into their system or their understanding of things. And understanding for an INFJ is actually pretty important, like we're going to see in a moment. So INFJs are the embodiment of non-conformism. They're rebels. They riot against specific things that they have at heart. It could be a theory, it could be some sort of a battle for Wiccan, for example, some religion of some sort, spirituality, or whatever the case may be. They are fighters. They fight for some ideal that they have and some idea that they believe in. And this is where I'm going to start about introverted intuition in the leading position, because introverted intuition in the leading position is being very attached to principles. So INFJs are extremely and highly principled people. And these principles are what we normally identify as it's not because of that, it's because in principle things should work this way. It's a matter of principle. So that kind of principle there, it's an ideal. So the INFJ is going to have an idea in mind of how things should work in that sense, and they are going to fight nails and teeth for that thing. But the most important thing about introverted intuition, the most important thing to say about introverted intuition is that it is cause and effect thinking. So causality is actually an NI trait, introverted intuition. And that's causality in terms of this leads to that, and that leads to that, then that will lead to that. So consequences, what a specific kind of behavior, where a specific kind of behavior will lead as a consequence, or how a specific trait in a person will develop over time, and how it could instead be developed to improve and to make it better than it's going to be in the way it is being used. That kind of thing there. Introverted intuition sees processes in everything. So processes, for example, an INTJ would be great at seeing processes in machines or in businesses, whereas an INFJ instead rocks at seeing processes in people's minds. So in people, what the hell is going on in that person's mind. So the INFJ is going to be some sort of a mind reader, because they're going to be able to see the state of mind of the person through their introverted intuition, as well as the cognitive process going on. So what kind of way that person is thinking that is leading them to that conclusion. The INFJ is going to be able to see that. What else can I say about this thing? the theory of mind. Now you can find that online. If you Google the theory of mind, you will find an explanation of what the theory of mind is. And the theory of mind is something that is particularly well developed in INFJs. And that's because of the combination of introverted intuition that sees cognitive processes and states of mind with extroverted feeling that is the ability to read the emotional state of anything around the person. So the emotional state of an environment as well as the emotional state of an individual and the emotional state of an animal, for example. Now when I talk about emotional states, I'm not talking about oh, that table is happy or that table is sad because it has that thing on that. That's an introverted feeling thing. What I'm talking about is knowing if this setting in an environment is gloomy rather than funny rather than melancholic over another thing. Recognizing the kind of atmosphere, of emotional atmosphere created by the presence of a specific item in a room, that's an extroverted feeling trait. So knowing that bringing that lamp in that corner is going to create a kind of creepy atmosphere is an extroverted feeling thing. So extroverted feeling types are those types that are going to be able to create an emotional atmosphere out of locating people or objects in a specific kind of way that they think and they perceive in their minds. One example could be picking a bunch of people that do not even know each other and placing them in the same environment because they know that the person knows that that specific setting with that specific kind of people is going to create a fun atmosphere that everybody's going to be able to enjoy in that group specifically. So that's an extroverted feeling thing, the ability to create emotional atmospheres as well as figuring out the atmospheres around the person. INFJs make of this trait a creativity matter. So they are creative in the creation of atmospheres or in the interpretation of emotional atmospheres. This means that they're also adept at understanding the kind of emotional atmosphere that an individual would prefer to have in a specific environment. They are able to find the perfect approach to any individual they have in front of them in matters of attitude towards the person, how to respect the person, how to behave towards the person, in which way to treat that person or to handle that person. They tend to be very soft, very caring individuals, tender, and they have the ability to take care of anybody's heart. Extroverted feeling types in general have a tendency to forget about themselves, and INFJs are no different in this sense. So they have a tendency to forget their own personal needs and their own personal state, to the point that the introvert intuition extroverted feeling combo makes for an extremely romantic individual that is going to forgive pretty much anything to the person that they have in front of them, if they have affection for the person. Obviously, it's not like INFJs are people you can stomp upon and they're going to say nothing if you are not in their graces, so to speak. So if you're not under their wing, they could be pretty nasty in reacting. But if you are their loved one, for example, or loved ones in case the person is polyamory, in case the INFJ is polyamory, then you're going to be forgiven pretty much anything. Probably even an attempt of murder. So that's how far an INFJ's ability to forgive can go, and how deeply they can step over their own personal needs. One characteristic that you can keep in mind when you're thinking about an INFJ is that INFJs are people that do not believe in the use of personal needs as a tool to obtain things in the world, nor as a way to influence the world. So my personal needs as an individual are my personal boundaries, and I have to decide if I want them respected or not. But in that case, it's very rare that an INFJ is going to ask for their personal boundaries to be respected. And it happens only with individuals that the INFJ deems dangerous. But in most cases, I would say that INFJs really need ESTPs to tell them which individuals to keep at a distance according to what the INFJ tells them about the individual. So once the INFJ has expressed the analysis of the individual, the ESTP is going to be able to tell the INFJ, no, you're not going to talk to that person because that person is doing something that is harmful for you. And in that case, it's in the hands of the INFJ to find the best diplomatic way to tell the individual if they're going to be diplomatic, because when they're not very well integrated, they can be pretty nasty. Like, okay, you are going to harm me. I have been told that that behavior is going to harm me. You're going to stay away from me, fuck yourself. They're going to be pretty nasty. And that's because of weak extrovert sensing. Weak extrovert sensing. Extrovert sensing is strength, force. And the ability to use this strength and this force. So it also means the ability to know how much strength to apply in a specific situation. So that means that weak extroverted sensing is going to be either no application of force at all, or an extreme and excessive application of force. So an INFJ by herself, without the input of an ESTP, is going to either assault and kill, or an attack to kill, or not attack at all and run away. So those are the two extremes that INFJs normally encounter. So either full speed, full force, attack to kill, and spare nothing, no victim, no prisoners, only that. On the other hand, you have, no, I'm conflict avoid and I cannot do that. Oh my God, no, I cannot intervene. No, please do it for me. Or they're going to have their people that they're going to let people stomp on their heads in that case, if they're not going to intervene in any possible way. And they are having that kind of limitation. Which can be given from anything. For example, the affection towards the person. If they feel affection towards the person, they can step back. Anyway, when an INFJ explodes, it is true, and I agree that it becomes a little bit like either Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or the Incredible Hulk. So they're turning into Hulk. You see this pretty fairy-like kind of romantic thing that suddenly turns into the Hulk and is going to destroy everything they find in their way. So it's gonna be the little ESTP hidden down there is going to jump out and destroy everything it encounters. So that's basically the inferior function, dominant function, and auxiliary function. Now we're going to talk about the third function, that is the knot of self-esteem of an INFJ. INFJs need to understand everything. That's what is important for an INFJ. INFJs need to understand everything. They need to know what is correct and what is not. And if they don't, their self-esteem implodes. So the knot of self-esteem for an INFJ is going to be understanding everything. And here I'm going to leave a little bit of a veil of mystery on this topic, because in case that there is a true INFJ out there watching this video, I would want to leave them the fun and the enjoyment of understanding what this knot of self-esteem actually means. Anyway, yeah, so INFJs need to understand everything. So since it's a very interesting thing to figure out, I think I will leave it open, and I will leave it for INFJs or anyone else to figure it out themselves. So what it means to have introverted thinking in the third position as a knot of self-esteem. I can tell another thing about that, and that's that when an INFJ wants to defend themselves and defend their self-esteem, they're going to explode saying they know everything or they know nothing. So they understand everything or they understand nothing. So I'm stupid, I don't get it, I'm sorry. Or on the other hand, you can have I know everything, I understand everything exactly as it should be, so why are you telling me that I'm not understanding things? So these two kinds of behaviors are the way that an INFJ uses to defend their self-esteem. So it's pretty funny to see, actually. Anyway, yeah. I think this is pretty much everything that I have, and I will close this. No, I can say something else, actually. So no closing the video here yet. What I want to tell you is with whom INFJs get along theoretically, and that's with people their own quadra or of the other anti-mainstream quadra. And that means ESTPs, ISTPs, ENFJs, and the other quadra would be the NTPs and the SFJs. Still, I personally have some issues about getting along with different perceptive functions, and with perceptive functions I'm talking socionics here, and I mean intuition and sensation. Having sensing and intuiting different, I think could constitute a difficulty, not in the sensing kind of way, but in the humor realm. And the problem here is that extroverted sensing has a very harsh and very crude kind of humor, and extroverted intuition instead is the childish, very fluffy kind of humor. So you're making those two things clash, and E types tend to be pretty touchy-feely, even if they're extroverted feeling types. They tend to be quite touchy-feely about extroverted sensing, irony or sarcasm or humor anyway. They really cannot take it well, especially ESFJs and INTPs for obvious reasons. But anyway, there's this kind of how to perceive fun kind of clash, and that really can cause relationship issues, relational issues. So I strongly believe that people within the same quadra are always going to get along better. So INFJ's dual is the ESTP, and then you have their activity partner, which is the ISTP. INFJs and ISTPs get along extremely well. And then you have the NFJs, they are the Hamlets of the situation, the romantic actors. They have this melodramatic drama queen kind of attitude, and they're pretty funny, actually. They're sweet and adorable anyway. So yeah, this is with whom INFJs would get along. What kind of enneagram can INFJs be? Any introverted intuition dominant type can be an Enneagram 6, and that's something that doesn't change. That's because introverted intuition can see the negative development of things very well, and Enneagram 6s base their core fear on the possible negative development of things. So ISTPs are more likely to be Enneagram 6, in my opinion, but introverted intuition dominant also. So INFJs can be Enneagram 6, they can be Enneagram 4, because of what I said before about their attitude towards their personal feelings and their personal needs. So they tend to forget about themselves. That's a very Enneagram 4 things to be. For the matter of understanding everything, they can be Enneagram 5, obviously. What else can they be? I've heard about people believing they're Enneagram 2 INFJs. I think there are some ways in which it could be possible, but I would consider that rare. Very rare. What else? I think that's pretty much everything. Enneagram 9 possibly, but I don't think so. I mean, Enneagram 9 seems a very extrovert thinking type, with their need to fit in at any cost. So to be nobody, that's very Enneagram 9 attitude, and it seems a very extrovert thinking thing. So I would say that being an Enneagram 9 and being an INFJ is a little bit of a contradiction. Like I said, INFJs are rebels, so they're more likely Enneagram 4s, wanting and demanding to be special rather than wanting to be nobody. Because wanting to be a nobody means needing to fit in. In fact, the Enneagram 9 integrates into Enneagram 3 by creating an identity by association, which is the basic principle of an INFP and an ISFP. Creating an identity associating with others, or ENFPs and ESFPs also, very Enneagram 9 types. So INFJs, I don't see them very likely to be Enneagram 9s. So most likely Enneagrams for INFJs, I would go for Enneagram 6, Enneagram 4, and Enneagram 5. And possibly, but rarely, Enneagram 2, and that would be an FEII. But I would say that in that case, it's most likely it's a mistyping, and the person is an ENFJ, actually. Needing to learn to get in touch with their introverted feeling, ignoring, and that makes more sense. Anyway, yeah, I think this is pretty much everything. Feel free to ask me questions. Consider that I'm not going to be very happy if you leave comments that are not on topic, and that's a peculiarity of mine. I like to stick to the topic. So if you want to make me happy, just please stay on topic when you comment. And those of you who have a tendency to write off topic know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this is everything I have, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.